Hey everybody, this is Steve 87th here, bringing you another mail call.
Hey everybody, it's Steve 87th, and it's October 2025, and have I got some stuff for you? So, as I said, I got some stuff. So, this is my hauls from eBay and from a train show that I went to. And the train show, I spent a lot more money than I wanted to. So, let's start getting into the unboxing of all of this stuff. Okay, so let's open us up some boxes.
Okay, all the boxes got open fast. That's amazing. Geez, I should teach Heath this trick. Someday we might actually be able to get through a box opening. So let's see what we got here. We got some train show stuff, we got some ordered stuff, and we got some stuff from eBay. Let's start with some of the train show stuff because this was really amazing. I went up to a train show up in Lynden, Washington this weekend, which is one of our bigger ones and one of the earliest ones that we have during our train season. And a train store that was in Spokane, Washington kind of closed down. And now the guy buys estate sales and has started to go on the train show circuit. But let's look at some of these things. These are going to be actual prices if you can actually see them. So this one here was $20 for a nice CP. I believe it's a Walthers car with the Pope and Talbot load. The whole thing for 20 bucks. Story about Pope and Talbot. The reason I got that is because I actually worked for them for a little while, or actually was a consultant at one of their sites for a while. So that's where I learned some of the lumber industry. And Pope and Talbot was a pretty big owner of lots and lots of land and a couple of lumber mills. But that was a $20 fine. Then this one I couldn't let go, especially after what Jerry had shown and all that kind of stuff. This one for $15 already has the wires. So just a little bit of doing some weathering on this thing, and I got me a nice empty car that's waiting for a load with all of the cables already strewn up for it. And remember, this was $15. So really nice looking car. I believe it has the metal wheels just like the other one does. And I think it already has the couplers. So this was kind of like from, yeah, it's got the KD couplers because you can see the springs. So again, this was like from an estate sale or something because it's not in a normal box, but already done. Don't have to worry about them anymore. These were a couple of things that I was surprised to find too. This Concord Apache, I think it's the Apache. Oh, Tri-County Materials. This was a series that Concord put on quite a few years ago. This was a whole $10, brand new in the box still. Pretty nice if you ask me. And then there's a Promotex fuel truck. It could be either a propane truck if you want to, or a fuel truck. Either way, again, this one is made in Canada by Promotex. This one is quite a few years old. You can see the older international cab that's on it, but it was a whole $5. Okay, so that was all pretty good. So at the same table, I spent a little bit of money. This one was really kind of nice. So these are Georgia Pacific, or not Georgia Pacific, I'm sorry. I think it might be Pacific Northern. Nope, this is Georgia Pacific. I could always change those up. Skeleton cars with log loads from River Rossi. Okay, now the big thing about these look like they're pretty new in the box, haven't been opened or anything like that. They might have changed out the couplers already, but they already came with middle roads. And if you guys have ever seen any of these things, they go for about 60 to 70 bucks a pop for the two of them. This one went for $20. So these are the reasons why I picked some of these up. Another one, Athorn built quite a few of these, and this kind of fits into my railroad, but this is an Alaskan gondola with a telephone pole load, right? A nice little pole load that goes inside of it, comes as a one-piece set sort of thing. Again, pretty nice because I am going to have a pole building company on my thing, and having an Alaska railroad that takes this right up to Alaska is pretty good because Seattle does have a barge that's a rail barge that goes up to Alaska. This was a whopping $15. So, I mean, that's 4 nice cars and a couple of trucks, and I'm still under 20 bucks. And then this one, it took me a minute. Not that this is modern or not that this is in my era, but I have always liked the look of these A-line twin stack 5-unit well cars. I mean, they're the beginning of what intermodal double stacks were like. They just have this nostalgic kind of really cool look to them, with the higher ends where they clamped the things in instead of just, hoped that they held together with the container thing. The best thing about this, these go for quite a bit of money, somewhere around in the $100 range. Usually you see them on eBay. I don't know if the people get that for them, but this was boom, 40 bucks. I have been looking for a set of these that was affordable for a long time, and the A-Line is the only one who makes these. So that came out really cool. So those were my big discounts at the train show. Now, not discounts, but these are things that I've been going to for quite a while. There is a man, there's actually 2 different people here. That's right. I forgot. This guy makes his own stumps and trees, but he's really well known for his stumps. I can't remember his name. I wish I did. Maple Valley, Washington. He's in Maple Valley, Washington, so he's a local kind of guy. He also makes like sheets of plywood and all that. Burr Stewart has quite a few of his stumps on his railroad that he's here in Washington, and he's really famous for making lots and lots of different stumps. So I decided that I would get 40 N-scale stumps, which would be about the size of the trees that I need for poles and things like that. So they are little cut up branches. They're really real wood and all that kind of stuff, but all you do is just glue them to your layout in different places. He even has a couple of tall ones so that you could have some broken, crooked trees and all that. As you can see here, a little bit better. He's got some larger snags and craggy trees that I got for the HO scale ones to bring in some larger logs. So those were a little bit expensive at 40 bucks for the 2 pieces. I got a little bit of a deal on them since I bought so much, but I got those, and then I decided that there is another guy that he teams with a lot, which is Coastman's. So Coastman's makes a whole lot of different trees and tree systems and all that kind of stuff. This one happens to be scenic old growth fir trees. So these are build your own fir trees. It comes in pack, and it comes with everything, including the instructions on how to build them, the best way to do it. And these are 9 inches tall. Right, so the 9 inches tall, you guys can see, is the equivalent of a 65-foot HO scale tree. And so out here in the Pacific Northwest, 65 feet is about lower to middle average. So I do need trees that are this tall on my setup, which will be kind of cool. Now, the thing is I've got these, which I can make as whole trees and put them up in the logging area. And then they also had 20 trees with trunks and branches. And you can see here, they're all tapered type trees. The average tree is about 8 inches tall. So I could have these as a deadfall. I could have them as cut trees. I could put these as trees on my trucks or whatever. There's also ground stuff that's in here. You can stake these. So a lot of times there's a lot of dead trees that we have. So you can see here the average tree trunk is 8 inches high with a 3/16 inch base, and they're all made from bamboo. Again, nice instructions on the back and how to do it. And then he also has the list of all of his other stuff that he does. So these were kind of nice. He usually shows up at some of the train shows with the stump guy, and so we make a bunch of these. So you can see here, these are averaging about 58 feet tall. So that'll be nice with the scene. It also lets me understand how to make some trees with instructions and things that I've seen that look really, really good. So this will be kind of a fun pack to do at some point in time. Okay. Further on in the train show, we're going to open these up a little bit later. But
I finally decided to get the D11 dozer. And then the next generation hydraulic crane and excavator. We're going to see what's in there. I believe this one says it's the general purpose, but I think it has the movable tips and we can put different things in it. But the other thing that came out, I got two of these big babies. We're going to pull one of those out as well, is the Cat 785 mining truck. It's one of the larger mining trucks that Caterpillar builds. We're going to pull that out and we're going to compare the size of these monsters, because all of these three things are monster trucks. Basically, they're the huge mining type apparatus. So we're going to see what those all look like. Okay. So let's go to my eBay finds. So first of all, this is something that I've been having a lot of problems trying to get. These American Limited intermodal 20-foot containerized highway chassis. These are specifically were designed for the bulk container bulk container ones. So you can see how the trailer is actually made in that picture, which is pretty good. I got this one on eBay, and it came with a container, which is really odd. So I got this. It was supposed to come from Eugene Toy and Hobby a long time ago. I got this for like 25 bucks, which is a really, really good price, considering right now there is just the trailer, as in only the trailer. Doesn't have the rest of the tank and stuff like that. Guy's trying to sell it for like $48 just for the trailer, and it's still in kit form. I have a couple of these kits, but I need like 3 or 4 of these trailers at least just to be hanging around. So this is kind of nice that I was able to get those. Along with that, I also found for about 15 or 20 bucks these more round containers. So the thing is, the place that I'm going to model, which is a refinery, it's actually for fertilization sort of thing and for farming. So when you go down and look, they have all of these tank cars. Plus, I also have to get some of those tank trailers from the new ones that they got from Walthers, which will fit right into the refinery system. But that's one of the systems that I needed to get. So these were really a good deal. They were like 20 bucks for the 5 of them. And let me tell you, they are normally almost $10 a piece, not put together. So I kind of like that. Another thing that I found is a really good steal. I've got one set of these, and I do want to put these together sometimes. These are all model kits for HO scale cars that you can get from China. You see them once in a while. They come up. They come as a 16 pack. So yeah, some of these are higher end cars, but they also have some regular cars or cars that you can use as regular cars, like the 745 is fairly normalized. They got the Jaguar, the Mini Cooper. I believe that is the last real Ford Mustang before they decided to make a station wagon. So that's the first 8 of them. And then the last 8 is kind of nice because you've got like a minivan sort of thing. Some of these I don't know who they are. I think that might be the Mercedes, the BMW. You got another Mercedes, a nice little Honda is in there. There's an SL600, and then we have a couple of cars that are going to be a little hefty, but there's also a 300ZX. So that's kind of some of the stuff that I was able to pick up while I was out. So let's go ahead and stop. This is my box opening, and we're going to go ahead and open up these big DH or these big Diemaster tractors and see what they look like up close. All right, so the first one that we're going to start off with is the D111 Cat. So this monster, you can see, is really nicely done. Yeah, there's still some shipping stuff that's in there. If anything, it's just that this doesn't have metal tracks. There are some people out there, I think, that are doing metal tracks. The ripper in the back does go up and down, which is kind of nice. The blade itself in the front comes up and goes down. This one's a little loose, but this is meant for pushing lots and lots of rocks in the mines. So this one has a little bit of a problem in the intermediate area, but it's either going to be up or down. So this is really meant for pushing dirt around in the mines. You can see it does actually come with a figure inside of it.
which is nice. Most of these do come with the figures inside. And you see it's a huge, huge cabin. So that's number one. And that's the dozer. Okay, our next candidate is the 395 excavator. This one is the general purpose, and it actually comes with a rock crushing hydraulic hammer, right, which will slip onto the bucket. And it also has a cutting claw, which is mostly going to be done for demolition, right? Both of these can replace this larger general size bucket that's used. This one, I believe I have the other one that isn't the generalized one, I believe. I'm kind of surprised that this didn't come with a black bucket. Again, nice reach. It has some good draw, nice look on the bucket. With the cuts across it and all that kind of stuff. Pretty fine detail on the teeth. They did a nice job over here. Very, very low smokestack. Again, metal. These are rubber tracks. This track over here I had some problems with. This one is not too bad. You could actually paint those and make it up a little bit better. This one does not have an operator in the cab, which is kind of odd. But it's got a nice full range of motion. You can see here it kind of goes down a bit. Not that high. Well, yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty decent reach. If you're going to actually be cooking, again, this should be in a quarry or big construction that you're doing on the side of the road or something like that, because this is a big crane. So that's the one on that one. So that's the 395 general purpose that has the attachments. There's also one that they have that has a bit of a bigger bucket that does not have the attachments. I think it has the bigger bucket. So that's the 395. And now we'll move on to the big thing. This is the HO scale 785 mining truck. If I remember right, I didn't go and look this up and do a whole bunch of research, but I think there's one truck that's bigger than this, which is the 787 mining truck that Caterpillar grows. So I just wanted you guys to see really the size of this monster. So just to start off with, this is an Atlas HO scale pickup truck. Okay? So that's the first size that we got. Okay, so we know pretty much in human terms how big a HO scale pickup truck is, right? Then we have a Boley regular single axle dump truck. And then for our last little comparison, we have the 772 off-road, also by Diecast Masters. Or you can compare this with the Walthers Terex dump truck that you can get from Walthers or from Keebri, right? Those are the ones that we normally get. And as a comparison to those trucks, here is the D111. So you can see it's a fairly big truck. And then we've got the 395, which is a fairly good sized crane. Now you guys remember I did have the large digging crane. So, just so that you guys know, for a size comparison, again, we got the pickup, single axle, the two mining trucks, and then, just for the fun of it, we have the big truck. So this is the 785. The 785 is big enough to easily hold the Boley dump truck and the pickup truck. Okay, it could almost hold the 727 mining truck. That's how large this thing is. So let's take a spin around, look at it. This is the first time I'm looking at it too, so you can see here it takes up a lot more room than the other two things that I just had on there. It does not come with an operator in the cab. It does have movable stairs so that when it's in operation, the stair is up. When it's not, it's down. Some people have criticized the handrails, that they're a little thick. I mean, come on, guys. It's got nice little detailing. You can see that it's got the rear view mirrors. It's got deck plating on it. I'm going to try to open this up in a second. The wheels are huge.
again, let's compare the pickup truck with that. So the wheels, center of the wheels is about 5.5 foot tall. Okay, it's got nice detailing around the dump body itself. It's got the heavy cut and the open back. Now I know I was talking with a mining crew one time and all that, and one of the reasons why you see these deep cuts in these dump bodies on this is actually where the weld lines are, because they can't bring this whole thing in as one. So they actually have to weld it together on spot. So when they buy one of these things, it's a bit of a task to put it together. So you can see here, the nice thing is the dump body actually goes nicely up in the air. So it has a really, really nice long dump to it. It even has sweeper wheels for protecting from the rocks and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure that's the battery boxes and all. So we're getting a nice look. I mean, it's really highly detailed. The engine compartments, the blowers and all the diesel setups and all that. Really kind of nice construction and detail. Again, you can see the diamond decking. They have diamond decks all the way down in there for the maintenance and oiling and all that kind of stuff. It does suck that it doesn't have a driver in it, but you can see that it has 2 positions. The other thing that it doesn't have, they usually have the yellow lights on the top. I don't see that on this one. Now I will give this one over the road dumper. The road dumper really only goes up that much. So you can't, I mean, I'm pushing that. I could probably get a little bit more out of it, but not much. So this one's kind of a little less realistic. Also, this doesn't have a driver in it. So this is kind of more of the off-road truck. But this is actually the mine truck. So it's really kind of nice. Good detailing on it. There's probably a few little things that are missing. But this is one of the latest releases that came out. And as you can see, as big as this truck is, even this large crane that we have is kind of dwarfed by it, which is why they have the other large crane that works the mines. So there you have it. There is the newest 785. Looks really nice. Got some other new die-cast masters to go with it. Good set. Probably wind up doing a diorama for some sort of a big mine or something like that to be able to use some of these things. I don't know what to say. This is probably one of the biggest trucks I have. It's definitely the biggest one on the layout. And I really don't know where I'm going to put it, but I got 2 of those things just because I really like them and they're kind of cool. So that's all from me. So this is Steve87 saying take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.